Crawford has over 70% knockout percentage in his career, and we really wouldn't mind seeing Shakur Stevenson get transformed into that, especially in a match where he faces the king of knockouts, Gervonta Davis. You, like many fans out there, are probably tired of the World Boxing Council lightweight champion, Shakur Stevenson's fighting style, and you're deserving of some praise if you didn't doze off during his last fight against Harutunian. Boxing fans have tagged him a boring fighter. Well, some professionals are probably sweet-talking it a bit and are calling him a defensive boxer, but definitely not all.
Stuff, you know, but Shakur, that guy will put anybody to sleep outside the ring, not inside the ring.
They believe he took Pernell Whitaker's hit and don't get hit boxing style very personally and to the very extreme, such that he doesn't even eat punches at all. And like Roy Jones advised, his unwillingness to eat punches stops him from throwing heavy hands. Well, whichever way, no one pays for a boxing match, only to see the squared circle turn into a track for races. What's beautiful in all of these is that Shakur Stevenson is still globally recognized as one of the most skillful fighters out there.
I think that Shakur Stevenson is born with this fighting style or anything like that. I disagree 100%. I don't know if people are even saying that or they think that he's overrated or anything like that. Let's also look at the fact that he will counterpunch you.
It's true that fans always have a special attraction for the knockout specialists, but despite his lack of power, everyone knows that his boxing skills need just a little refining. His punches need to be just a little heavier, and he needs to open up his defense a little to enable him throw the best punches. And this refining is what Shakur Stevenson has met Terence Crawford for. Terence "Bud" Crawford recently moved up to super welterweight and defeated the best champion of the division in Israel Madrimov by unanimous decision to become the new World Boxing Association super welterweight champion and a 4-division world champion. For now, there are really no fights in front of Terence Crawford after Canelo Alvarez declined his request for a massive showdown between the pair. But Shakur has a filled calendar already, and that's why he sought the help of his big brother and friend, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is regarded as one of the most intelligent boxing fighters of this generation, having good power, high boxing IQ, ambidexterity, and a good defense. While Shakur would surely not be needing defensive training, except he wants to increase the number of sleepers and early exits during his fights, he has decided to seek Crawford's help in working on his offense and punching power. In the video, we could see him throwing punches at Crawford's punching pads and pushing himself to box a little harder each time. Crawford also tried explaining some lessons to him and helped him out while practicing. And this may be all boxing fans need to believe in Shakur Stevenson again, after his lackluster performances in his last 2 fights. And with this beam of hope, fans can go into his next fight with the expectation of seeing a fighter who'd stand and box and not run around the ring.
Trying to cut the ring, I heard Dre say go to the right. I went to the right, he started going left.
Go to the right.
Bro, one of y'all said go to the right.
And I went that way. Jab. You weren't jabbing, bro.
Yeah.
You was just following.
I was trying to get him.
The defensive master and 3-weight world champion won the vacant WBC lightweight belt against hard-hitting Edwin de los Santos, scoring a unanimous decision by avoiding most of what was coming his way and scoring when he could. In his first defense against Harutunian this month, fans felt he once again didn't turn up the gas enough whilst coasting to a points win. In a post-fight conversation with friends Terence Crawford and Andre Ward, 2 of the best boxing minds to pick apart a fight, Stevenson wasn't spared an honest assessment from Bud, who wanted to see more shots thrown. The behind-the-scenes moment was captured by Top Rank.
He just kept like...
You weren't letting your hands go. You was picking the pace up with your movement.
Yeah.
But your hands wasn't, you know what I mean?
It was a certain time I started throwing, boom, 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 boom.
Hit him off with your jab. You weren't jabbing, bro. You were just following him. You gotta jab your way in. He continued, these body shots were hurting him, but you weren't letting your hands go. You were just picking the pace up with your movement, but your hands weren't. He was throwing you off with feints. That's why I kept telling you to feint him back and jab. Stevenson made his case in return, saying Harutunian was in there to survive. He has received criticism from fans, analysts, and fellow fighters, but has been keen to fight his corner on social media, as well as vowing to keep improving in the gym ahead of his next bout.
If he start like kind of
He was solid though. No cap, he was solid at first. I'm like, damn, he bouncing, he won't stand in one spot.
And his training session with Terence Crawford is surely where the improvement begins. Recently, a press release from Matchroom Boxing and social media posts confirmed that the lightweight champion has signed with them. It did not specify the length of the deal. However, the first fight of this partnership is official. On the undercard of the undisputed light heavyweight clash between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, Stevenson faces Joe Cordina. I am ready to start this next chapter of my career, and it begins on October 12th with Joe Cordina on the stacked Riyadh season card in Saudi Arabia, said Stevenson in the press release. I've made it clear that I want the biggest names and the biggest fights in the sport. Bring on William Zepeda at the top of 2025, and I'm ready for anyone who is brave enough to step in the ring with me. There have been few willing to take on that challenge in recent years.
That gives me confidence that he beats everybody. I think he's been massively undersold. I think he should be not just an American superstar, but a global superstar.
With Matchroom and Riyadh season, I am teaming up with a promotional force that matches my world-class talent. We will be unstoppable in and out of the ring, and I will continue to show my dominance for many years to come in the sport of boxing. I am delighted to welcome what I believe is a pound-for-pound great to the Matchroom team, said Eddie Hearn. Shakur Stevenson is 27 and already a 3-division world champion and might be unbeatable in the sport of boxing. This young man should be a global superstar, and I believe with our machine behind him, he will land all the big fights and receive all the credit that he deserves. The journey begins on October 12th in Riyadh on a huge card, and we cannot wait for the future together. And in a mocking attempt to make fun of the fight, Gervonta Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis tweeted on Instagram saying, "Get your tickets now."
Don't do that, because he's not gonna let you fight Tank.
Whoa. See, he contradicted himself. Hey, Bill,
I'm telling you.
As soon as Stevenson learned of the comment, he took to social media to respond to Ellis, posting a screenshot of Ellis's daughter's 7-3 record and teasingly saying, "Come on, Coach Kenny Ellis, stay focused." Stevenson expressed his belief that 3 defeats in 10 fights are too many. Shakur is trying to rise to fame and prepare for a potential matchup with Tank Davis. His stock has fallen as a result of his recent poor performances against Artem Harutunian and Edwin de los Santos. Thus, he wants to boost his popularity.
I was not gonna let
Bill Kenny, you contradicting yourself, Bill Kenny.
Why does Bud leave him?
That's cool. Why?
Due to a recent 8th-round knockout loss to Anthony Kakache on May 18th, Shakur will not benefit in any way from defeating the 32-year-old former IBF super featherweight champion Cordina. Boxing fans have already harshly criticized Shakur for selecting Cordina for several reasons. Whatever level of dominance Shakur achieves over Cordina, it will never compare to that of Kakache, who is all over him in that fight, punching and beating the live daylights out of him. Shakur doesn't fight in that manner, and he will probably use boxing to win in 12 rounds.
Because he couldn't make the big fights.
So why y'all able to make the big fights with Lomachenko and?
Since Cordina hits too hard, Shakur can't risk battling the way Anthony Kakache did. He lacks bravery. Shakur is too risk-averse to fight in that manner, while Kakache took some heavy hits in that fight in exchange for knocking down Cordina in the 8th. Stevenson, who is 22-0 and has 10 knockouts, will try to win the title for the second time. Last month, he successfully defended it via a unanimous decision over Artem Harutunian. Coming off his first career defeat, Cordina lost the International Boxing Federation Super Featherweight World title to Anthony Kakache via technical knockout in the 8th round in May.
I was more surprised than hurt. The first time I wasn't really that hurt. I was more surprised. Like I said, he went in there, he jumped on me, just like he knew he would, but I was just sleeping. I would love to rematch. I gave him a shot. It's only right he gave me a shot back.
After promising to beat up Artem Harutunian, Shakur Stevenson delivered his promise, but whether he did it in an impressive fashion is a question many fans will answer negatively. Shakur Stevenson said he was out to make a statement before he was out to take on Artem Harutunian on Saturday night at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Stevenson, who is now undefeated in 22 fights with 10 knockout wins, and Harutunian headlined a Top Rank on ESPN card that also saw Shakur Foster lose his World Boxing Council junior lightweight strap against Robson Conceição in a very controversial fight. Stevenson is a significant favorite against Harutunian, yet much was on the line for the 3-division titleist in his latest headlining event on ESPN. That was the last fight on his contract with Top Rank, so the athletic southpaw naturally wanted to send a message to not only the other top 135-pounders, but also other promoters by beating Harutunian in emphatic fashion.
To host your fights here, talk about home and community and what that day yesterday was like, Boys and Girls Club.
It means everything to me.
I'm going to take him to a level he's never been on, said Stevenson during the final press conference. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to come out and show my talent and show my levels. He continued, explaining his boxing style in the most impressive way, hoping to win the heart of the boxing fans who'd given up on him. I think I'm one of the best in the sport of boxing at hit and don't get hit. There's a certain way of doing that, and I want to show the fans that all that moving around is something I don't really have to do. I can sit in the pocket and beat you up too. Sadly, the fight was far from what he had promised. Stevenson entered Saturday night looking to continue his win streak in the lightweight class. Harutunian came out of the gate with more energy, darting around erratically to throw off Stevenson's game plan.
Nice. Artem. That was as these early rounds develop.
His plan worked on defense, but he struggled to land punches on Stevenson, who displayed a masterclass in avoiding punches. As the bout wore on, Stevenson found his rhythm and wore Harutunian down. By the end of round 6, ESPN statistics showed Stevenson landed 74 of 163 punches, 45%. That was miles better than Harutunian 31 of 195, 16%. Stevenson won the fight with judges scoring the bout 119, 109, 118, 110, 116, 112 in his favor. That wasn't a sure thing though. The co-main event between World Boxing Council World Super Featherweight Champion Shakur Foster and Robson Conceição saw a huge surprise from fans and announcers. Foster was in control throughout the match, but Conceição won by split decision 116, 112, 112, 116, 115, 113.
In his offense, I mean, he's a thinking fighter. You know, he's gonna. Yeah, but you see how what Artem depends on him.
Despite Harutunian's aggression in the later rounds, there would be no surprise result. Stevenson ended Saturday's bout as he entered it. World Boxing Council Lightweight Champion. Stevenson retained his World Boxing Council lightweight title via unanimous decision 119, 109, 118, 110, 116, 112. In the first round, Harutunian stayed active early on, moving a lot more than Stevenson to start the bout. Stevenson caught him with a counterpunch multiple times while staying just out of range. His defense was fully on display in the first frame. Moving to the second, Harutunian's less predictable movements forced Stevenson to take extra time to decide how to attack. Stevenson avoided most of Harutunian's punches and only peppered him with a few hits.
You got to get aggressive. Right now, comfortable to set up his offense. He's going to struggle with him.
In the third, Harutunian continued to be the more engaged fighter. He landed a couple of big hits in the middle of the round. Stevenson finally connected on a big hit in the final minute before Harutunian had him on the ropes to close the round. The fourth round came, and Stevenson hit Harutunian with a big combination midway through the round after a slow first 90 seconds. Harutunian tested him with an uppercut, but Stevenson managed to dodge it. Stevenson closed the round with one landed hit among multiple misses. Just as they began the fifth, Harutunian landed a few punches early and kept the aggression up into the second minute of the round. Stevenson powered back though, with multiple big hits, including one to Harutunian's head. Stevenson ended the round in emphatic fashion with a couple of powerful shots to Harutunian's body in the final minute.
Think harder than ever. If he steps that up, the process of starting is there. He can dip it underneath.
It was not until the sixth round that Stevenson found his rhythm well, with a mix of aggressive shots, dodges, and defense. Harutunian fired multiple powerful shots but only connected with Stevenson's shoulders. After moving a lot in the opening rounds, Harutunian looked slower in the final minute of the round. Getting into the seventh, Harutunian came out with more energy after a sluggish finish to round 6. Stevenson responded with multiple shots, including a powerful left-hand hit. he's still managing to avoid contact from many of Harutunian's punches. Stevenson landed multiple sweeping left hands to Harutunian's face in the final minute of the round.
To fight him. Understand that.
What a good pottery shot.
Entering round 8, Harutunian came out with more energy again to stay in front of Stevenson. Both boxers moved around the ring more than usual in this round before Stevenson landed some strong hits to Harutunian's body. When it was the 9th round, Stevenson started more on the defensive in this round. He powered multiple big punches in the 2nd minute to Harutunian's body, specifically with his left hand. Harutunian went defensive in the final minute of the round before fighting back and landing a big hit to Stevenson's face. In round 10, Harutunian continued his aggression from the closing minute of round 9. Stevenson responded with body shots in the 2nd minute. Harutunian fought back with jabs to Stevenson's body in one of the closer rounds of the bout.
That 4-punch combination with the right hand to the body.
Getting to the penultimate round, Harutunian came out swinging in the opening minute. Stevenson went on the defensive, much to the disappointment of fans in his hometown Newark who booed him in the 2nd minute. Harutunian continued to go aggressive. After the result from the co-main event, anything is possible. And finally, the defensive clinic continued for Stevenson, who forced Harutunian to land just 17% of his punches. Some of Stevenson's best punches came in a combination in the middle of this round. Both boxers went to heavy swings to close the round, but managed to avoid each other's big hits.
I know how good this kid is. He may be unbeatable. I know he's a pound-for-pound star. There's something about Shakur Stevenson's mentality.
While Gervonta Davis remains the long-term goal, it appears the hard-hitting tour de force Zepeda is next in line if Stevenson gets past Cordina. Matchroom and Stevenson will have an introductory press conference in Los Angeles next week to provide further details on their pact. Stevenson is the latest American star to be added to the Matchroom roster, joining IBF welterweight champion Gervonta Ennis and WBC super flyweight champion Jesse Rodriguez. On the heels of signing Shakur Stevenson with his Matchroom boxing, Eddie Hearn is speaking out about grand plans for the WBC lightweight world champion. Stevenson will defend his title against Joe Cordina in Riyadh on October 12th, and Hearn has even bigger fights that he wants to nail down for the Newark, New Jersey native. For me, what we do is we go Joe Cordina, William Zepeda, Gervonta Davis. Hearn revealed in a recent sit-down for Matchroom Boxing's YouTube page.
But also, I think he can move to 140. He can fight Liam Paro. He can fight Devin Haney. But right now, the focus is 135. And
for me, once we've done our work over that 6-month period, Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson will be the biggest fight in boxing. After the recent official news of Shakur Stevenson signing with Matchroom, its promoter Eddie Hearn discusses his plans for Stevenson, while also touching on his ideas for Gervonta Ennis and others. On signing Shakur Stevenson, he said, "I feel like I've promoted Shakur Stevenson for years, really, because I've talked about him for years. I know my boxing and I know how good this kid is. He may be unbeatable. I know he's a pound-for-pound star. There's something about Shakur Stevenson's mentality that gives me confidence that he beats everybody." He continued, "I think he's been massively undersold. I think he should be not just an American superstar, but a global superstar. I think he's edgy. I think he's ballsy. I think he's unbelievably talented, and I'm going to do everything I can to give him the platform and the promotional push that his ability deserves."
Global superstar. I think he's edgy. I think he's ballsy. I think he's unbelievably talented. And I'm going to do everything I can to give him the platform.
For Shakur, the plan is this 2-fight plan of Joe Cordina. And if he's triumphant, into the Zepeda fight. And we'll show him during that period our value. We'll work together closely, Gervonta Davis, everybody. I hope these are 2 fights that lead to the rest of Shakur Stevenson's career with Matchroom. On Stevenson's fight with Cordina not getting the greatest reception from fans, Hearn said, "I think this is a really, really good fight. Stylistically, this is a great matchup for Joe Cordina, and actually a great matchup for boxing. 2 really skillful fighters. I think it's going to be a brilliant fight, and Shakur's a big favorite going into the fight, but Joe, coming off the back of the Kakachi loss, having the extra weight at lightweight as well, it's a proper fight." Not being funny, the last geezer that Shakur Stevenson boxed, Joe would beat him easily, and probably the ones before that, so Joe's a serious fighter. For me, what we do is we go Joe Cordina, William Zepeda, Gervonta Davis. For me, once we've done our work over that 6-month period, Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson will be the biggest fight in boxing. But we make our own moves. We're not chasing Tank, we're chasing greatness, but that comes with Tank because he's an unbelievable fighter. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.